when you think of what it was like before the colonists got here, the relationship to Mother Nature, to the land, to realizing that we come from the earth, we don't have dominion over it, that each small community of related kinship families would take up residence in a territory, and that territory later on became known as the trap line. That world that you were entitled to get your sustenance from, that you lived off of. There was a great forest called the food forest that was here in the Rouge Valley, and all the way from Hamilton right down to the Carolinas. In fact, the Carolinian forest was here. It was 7 canopies of wonderful food that was available. Our people were going out and from the big old trees, the walnut trees, the maple tree, we got maple syrup, we got walnuts, we got beech nuts, we got incredible, wonderful food for our brains, because they say the walnut, you crack them open and it looks like a little brain. We knew that walnuts were good for our consciousness. We knew that maple syrup was. We knew that these great trees were protecting all the rest of the plants, and in those old trees, we called them these were the wisdom trees. These were the old trees that had many winters, and they represented wisdom to us. And underneath that canopy of old trees were the more fragile trees that were fragile, but they were able to survive harsh winters and hurricanes and rainstorms and everything. And invariably, they always gave us the fruit of their produce, and they had the courage to stand up to the elements of nature, and they always provided us fruit. So we had courage, wisdom, we had courage, and under those fruit trees were all the plants that were the berry bushes, the blueberries, the raspberries, the thimbleberries, the hawkberries, all the berries, and they were different tastes, they were different shapes, they were different colors, and they lived together. They were all together, and they respected one another. And we learned about respect from those bushes when we looked at them. We had wisdom and courage and respect. And then there was all kinds of food under living next to the berries that were right above the ground, and they were good to eat, and they were honest in their representation to us. We saw the other animals eating them, and we ate them, and we learned about honesty from those fruits. And then on the very ground, with the blanket of the earth, was our medicines. And there we had to go and get on our hands and knees and sort out the ivy oak, the poison ivy from the good ivy, the poison oak from the bad oak, the mushrooms from the toadstools. And we learned about truth. And then you dug under that surface, and under there we found the tubers. And we learned humility from that. And then we saw the plants moving through this great food forest of ours, and the ivies and the grapes and so on. And we learned about how they embraced one another, and we learned about love. And we had the 7 ancestor teachings from this wonderful, incredible food forest that was here. In fact, Forest Hill used to be that food forest. And what happened to the food forest? What happened to all that wonderful food that was providing to us and floating down through rivers with the nutrients and the fish and everything? And we were happy little communities of people enjoying the fruits of it. What happened? Settlers came over. Where is the food forest? In a place called Forest Hill. You know where all that forest is in Forest Hill? It was cut down to feed the furnaces in the brickworks. And now the brickworks, all those old houses, after they cut down the food forest, they built their houses with the bricks from the brickworks. And guess where the beautiful oak trees, the beautiful walnut trees, the beautiful birch trees, and all of that. Where do you think they are now? If you go to the offices down at Bay Street, you'll see the walnut, the oak furniture, and the walnut flooring, and I mean, it's just what happened. And we, as a people, watched this go down, and we saw the plows that came along and dug into our mother, the earth, and we were astonished at the horror of it all. Well, that horror has resulted in a time right now where we're facing a crisis of such an immensity. Climate change. We need to change our ways, and we can do it. And when we can do it with a new vision. And that vision has to incorporate, in my view, indigenous philosophy and thought in an equal partnership with the dominant culture. We want everybody. No Native person ever said in all my life in this city, in this country, ever said we want the non-Native people to move away. We want, when we said in the beginning when they first came, we embraced them. We kissed them, we embraced them, we hugged them. We said, come and join us in a dish with one spoon. And they came and they took the dish away and they didn't even leave us a spoon.